It's Ron Reader digs the universe. I'm Ron Reader, and this is Ron Reader Digs the Universe. And tonight, Buffalo, replacement theory, and my theory. Just this last Saturday, there was yet another instance of the seemingly endless stream of gun massacres, this time in Buffalo, New York. An 18-year-old white guy who had racially radicalized himself online during the lockdown wrote a manifesto citing the racist Great Replacement Theory as his motivation, wired himself up to live stream the event, and drove to Buffalo from out of town in order to kill black people. 13 dead, 11 of them black. And here we all are. While all gun massacres are manifestations of the conservative death cult simply because of the ocean of guns in which we live at, because that's the way they want it. This massacre, like the one in El Paso a couple of years back, and others, is not only racist, but also subscribing to a very specific racist idea, now so common that you can hear it being asserted every night on Fox, Newsmax, and One American News. The term Great Replacement was coined in 2010 by a French white nationalist who was tripping out about Muslims immigrating to France. The theory, if we really want to call it a theory, is that wealthy elites, usually Jews like George Soros, are somehow financing mass migrant movements to white economically developed nations in order to destroy white culture and to undermine white voting numbers. Presumably this is so that the wealthy Jewish elites can control society or something. The details on that get a little vague. Obviously, American racists have jumped on replacement theory like flies eating shit and going all in on it. It has become mainstream conservatism, with about half of all conservatives saying they believe the idea in polls. And that fraction is growing, getting bigger. The Great Replacement is a notion so offensively preposterous that it really doesn't need an articulate response. Immigrants leave their countries because capitalism or war has destroyed their lives there, not because they're trying to replace us. And the white West is usually has more than a little to do with these oppressive economic and war forces to boot. So, fuck you is a good response to assertions of replacement theory, or go fuck yourself, anything along these lines. Replacement theory isn't even an argument. It's just a bunch of bullshit racist assertions not intended even to persuade. If you are in any way inclined to believe the Great Replacement Theory, then you're already a racist. Replacement theory is about whipping up racist animus among the fascists, giving them a hate hard-on, inspiring them to destroy fascism's perceived enemies, which they are now doing with gusto. Replacement theory is a call to kill. Well, I have a theory. I have my own theory, and mine is fact-based. So, consider some facts. Consider the so far successful attack on abortion access and other Bill of Rights freedoms. Consider the so far successful attacks on teaching about race, gender, and sexual orientations in the schools. Consider the book banning. Consider the ongoing efforts to turn schools into institutions of religious indoctrination. Consider the so far successful attacks on voting rights and attempts to institute legislative voter nullification aimed at reversing elections. Consider gun intimidation at places of commerce and at the polls. Consider violent racist thugs, brown shirts, really, in the streets. Consider how the Republicans essentially handed Trump federal dictatorial powers when they refused to convict him in the Senate. These are all facts. My theory is that all these facts add up to a bona fide fascist movement, you know, the conservatives, marching inexhaustibly toward what at the moment looks like an inevitable overthrow of the U.S. Constitution in substance, if not in name. It's a million Reichstag fires burning all at once everywhere. Hell, some conservatives are even calling the Buffalo massacre a false flag operation. That the conservatives are now fascists and that they direly threaten the nation is now so obvious that to deny it is to be as deluded as a conservative. But deny it people do. And I don't know why. I'm Ron Reeder, and this has been Ron Reeder Digs the Universe. Join me, Ron Reeder, again next week for another episode of Ron Reeder Digs the Universe.